Secondly, we have our first, out of 12 years, this is the first year we've had a keynote speaker other than myself. Contrary to popular belief, I don't like talking. Some believe that I love it, but I actually don't. But we have Dr. Boyce Watkins in the building today. He took time out of a busy schedule. Actually, today is his birthday too, right, Bob? Today's birthday?
Next week.
Next week, okay. So what I'm going to do is, we'll be real brief, 5 minutes. Now, we're on the clock today. So when that clock hits 3 o'clock, we want to be winding down, right? Because previously, we've always went over. Even though this is our building, we can spend as much time as we want here. We want to stay on schedule. So there's a couple of things I want to address first. First thing is, this is the first expo we started our pre-med, our pre-law, our pre-engineering program. So what we'll do is, that's for the babies too. So you're going to see my presentation at the end. We'll be showcasing some of our students, first and second graders, doing some pre-med. That's called What's the Diagnosis. So the first 2, maybe the first 3 rows, we'll have something special for you during my presentation. We'll do a little something, but you'll like it. Second thing is, what we're trying to do with the other schools, in case you didn't know, just for the record, my name is Margaret Kline, I'm co-founder of Freedom Home Academy, School of Literacy, including the National Academy, which is our high school. This is the second year we've established the high school here in this building since September. Also, we started African Genius Nursery School. So we go now from preschool all the way up to 12. We have some schools in the process of operating. Atlanta, we have Baltimore coming, Fort Lauderdale, actually Miami Gardens coming as well. So there's a lot that we're trying to do. With your help, we're going to make it happen. But you have to be patient. I have a lot of parents asking, what's up with the Atlanta school? You know, let's pump the brakes a little bit. We have some things in operation right here. Let's focus on what's going on here in Chicago first. But that's good because what we found is the better work that we do here, it blossoms out to the other schools and it creates an interest, a heightened level of consciousness. There's one of my ex-graduates just walked in this evening. So that's also what I like to see. I like to see some of our old graduates come in. Third thing I want to address, we have our first high school graduate. Period. We've never graduated in 12th grade. This is our first year we graduated in 12th grade. You'll see him today. But it's good. But what I'm going to do now is introduce Dr. Boyce Watkins. And before I do that, it was really important that we address the need for aid and assistance. But that aid and assistance, and of course we're always asked, why don't we take set grants, why don't we accept state funding? There's a reason for that. Without me going into the reasons, it's always important for us to acknowledge those who donated to the school, not only just monetarily, but other different types of donations. But in this case, Brother Boyce, out of his own foundation, he donated a $5,000 gift to us. Actually, I'm not mistaken, the first one. So he had time to go into that a little bit. We're going to spend a little time with the check ceremony, not long though. So he has something to do, but we really appreciate him coming. So those of you who are not familiar with Dr. Boyce Watkins, you should be. Let's give him a hand, Dr. Boyce.
How's everybody doing today? First of all, I'm real honored and humbled that you allowed me to even address you today. I stand here in the most sincerity and humility, and I'm so appreciative of your grace that you've shown by coming out here to support your children and to be a part of something that's very, very special. Now, before I jump into this quick discussion, I want to give a little bit of a context here. I did not know Marcus Kline 3 months ago. Marcus Kline and I, it's not like we've been buddies 100 years or nothing like that. I just kept hearing about what this black man and his extraordinary team have been doing in the city of Chicago. I was hearing this not from people just in Chicago, I was hearing this from people in states across the country. They were talking about what Freedom Home Academy International was doing for black children. And so my outreach to him kind of came from me not even knowing, how it would be received or how it was going to go. It was just outreach that said that if you see somebody that's on your team that's doing a good job and scoring points for your team, you pass the ball to that person as much as you possibly can. You got to do everything you can to support when you see folks in your community who really believe in the strength of the black community and believe in what we can do. Because I'm sorry, forgive me for believing this, but I don't believe there's anything that man over there can do that we can't do. Now, I hope you allow me to just say thank you to my family that actually made this trip to Chicago to come out there in the back. Just wave your hand real quick. I don't want to embarrass anybody. And my dad came out here, and he wasn't the sperm donor. He wasn't the one that actually biologically created me, but I carry every ounce of his DNA in my spirit, in my heart. He taught me how to be a man. My mother is a person who relates to the theme of this school very much, because she was that mother that always pushed her children towards special programs that would get them off of the godforsaken path that so many of our children are on right now. You don't have to go too far down the street to find a school that's ruining black children. And my mother, from a very early age, even though most of her friends, she had little girlfriends that also were teenage mothers, and in fact, from the time that she was pregnant, there were probably plenty of people who felt that I shouldn't even be born, that she'd be better off if she just got rid of the baby. But my mother handed me to God and made the best decision she could make. Fought the teachers all along the way, put us in an alternative path. And despite the fact that many of her friends had children that didn't do so well, ended up in prison, things like that, she can say, my son's a PhD, my daughter's an MD, my other son went to an Ivy League school. And that was because she made deliberate efforts to take her children off of that path. Now, also, another person that's here that really makes me think about this day and what we're doing today is my father has a cousin. His name is Tippy. And Tippy, when I graduated from college, I remember Tippy gave me this gift that was really, really a surprise gift. It was bigger than what I thought. I didn't expect to get anything from him because I didn't talk to him that much. But he wrote me this big check for $500 when I graduated. And I remember I was real excited about it, because I didn't get gifts like that. I don't think anybody's ever given me a gift like that since that time. And so years later, I find out that my cousin Tippy wanted to come out here and see this speech and see our conversation in terms of what we're doing here with Freedom Home Academy International. And he said, well, I'm just here to check on my investment, and I see that it's paid off. So in that theme, I want to congratulate everybody in here, because we know that these children that we are elevating into some of the greatest human beings on this planet, that's our investment. Your children are your portfolio. Now as we move forward, and I want to link this thing to what we're discussing today, my grandmother, Felicia T. Couch, that's the person I named the award after, the one that we gave to Freedom Home Academy International, the Academic Excellence Award. I name things after my grandmother because that's my way of keeping her alive. When I talk about her, I don't feel at all like she's gone. She's right here. She was the first person to taught me very basic things about life and success that allowed me to do certain things later on down the road. And one thing about my grandmother, Felicia, is that she really loved basketball. I remember when I called her up, one of the last conversations we had was right after she found out that her cancer had come back, and it wasn't going nowhere, it wasn't going away. And we knew that she only had a few months to live, and I remember I called her, the first conversation we had after I found out about the cancer, and I didn't know what to say. What do you say to your loved one when you know that, the time is short, that she's going to be gone soon? And I said, well, Mama, that's what I call her, Mama. I was like, well, Mama, I don't really know what to say. Is there anything I can do? I'm feeling a certain kind of way, and I just want to make sure you're all right. And she said, Coco's my nickname. She said, Coco, would you please be quiet, because I'm watching the basketball game. And so we watched the basketball game together. We watched the Louisville Cardinals play the national championship. And so I thought about my grandmother last night in basketball as I was watching another big basketball game. Some of y'all might have seen. Anybody watch that game between the Warriors and the Cavaliers? You see that? So I'm watching this game, right? And I'm thinking about my grandmother, so I'm having all these different emotions. I'm mad because LeBron can't possibly find a way to beat this team. And so I'm mad at the Cavaliers. If you don't know anything about the Cleveland Cavaliers, a lot of people feel like they kind of cheated, right? Like they kind of feel like they built this super team. They went out, instead of trying to win the game with one all-star, maybe two, they went out and got 4 all-stars on the same team, which made them practically unbeatable, right? So, so for example, to give you an analogy, when Michael Jordan won all of his championships, he won the championships because he had Scottie Pippen, and he was taking on another team that maybe had 1 all-star, that's it. And so I said, well, do you really think Jordan could have won all those championships if he played an all-star team where you had Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon on the same team? I said, that ain't right, that ain't fair. So I'm mad, I'm fussing with my friends and we're going back and forth on Twitter about it. And then I thought about it and I said, maybe I need to stop hating. Maybe I need to stop hating and actually learn a thing or two from this idea of working together. Maybe the Golden State Warriors were actually on to something. This idea of instead of competing, why not cooperate? The same energy it takes for me to fight my brother is similar to the energy it would take for me to find a way for us to work things out and to work together. Right? You think about our community. We got a whole lot of competition going on. We got a whole lot of crabs in the barrel syndrome going on. We know where that comes from. That comes from slavery. We were programmed that way. We were taught to fight against each other. There are people where I can tell them about the great things that are going on at this school and the great things that Marcus and his team have been doing with these wonderful children, the great things the parents in this community have done to support. And I could tell them these things, and some people would just look at it and say, well, he ain't no better than the rest of us, and my school is as good as his, and I should be the one who gets all the attention. That's a mindset. It's a competitive mindset. And so what I thought about when I reached out to Marcus was I said, instead of me trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to find a way to help educate black children by us starting a school and putting our money into something, into an industry that we don't know much about, I said, why don't we form a super team? Why don't I call this brother up, find out what he's doing, figure out how we can help, and get behind it. So when we wrote that check, we didn't know, there was no strings attached. We didn't know what he was going to do with it. And we weren't judging that. We did not give him one single instruction on what to do with that money. But I was immediately impressed because the first thing that Michelle, my manager, told me was that he was going to take the money and open a new school with their money in Atlanta. And I said, this is a brother who can actually get a school off the ground with $5,000? I love it. Let's give him some more money. Let's see what he can do with it. So again, without feeling like it was my job or our job to carry the world on our shoulders, I reached out to the community. I said, let's form a super team. I said, let's all get together and let's pool our money together. Let's go to the website for Freedom Home Academy International and let's do a cash file on that website. Let's adopt this school. Let's adopt these children. You see, because here's what makes me mad about the conversation around the education of black children. People talk about educating black children like it is the most difficult thing in the world. Like it's this really complex problem that they can't solve. We're like, oh, well, we can put a man on Mars, but my goodness, getting a Negro to read, that's an equation we can't figure out. Seriously, they sit around literally, they literally believe that no matter how many billions of dollars they put into it, how much man and woman power, how many think tanks and groups they focus on the issue, that they can't solve the issue of black education. And we know that that's nonsense, and I'm going to tell you why. I tell them, the reason I know you're lying, the reason I know that you're not doing it because you don't want to do it, is because there are people that are already doing it, and you're not supporting those people. See, we're looking for the blueprint, we're looking for solutions. The solution's right here. The solution right here, just like when a doctor makes an antidote to a virus and they just take a little bit of the antidote and they replicate it. Well, we've got an educational model that is producing exceptional children. So why don't we replicate this model all around the country and all around the world? The answer is simple. Let me tell you a little secret. I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but it's true. Those other people out there ain't going to do it. And you know what I mean when I say those other people. I'm talking about white folks. They ain't going to do it. They're not going to do it. And the thing is, though, it's not really their job to do it. And they have no incentive to do it. Think about this. The same way we talked about the Golden State Warriors being this super team that can't be beaten. There are people who I think honestly accurately perceive the black community to almost be like a super species. I mean, really think about this. You had the Middle Passage. Millions of slaves came across on those boats. Half of them died. Your ancestors didn't die because they were strong enough to survive that horrible journey. And then you had 400 years of the most difficult, most back-breaking labor known to man, the worst treatment in the history of all mankind. And we survived all of that. And then, for whatever their reasons were, they took the strongest slaves and bred them with the other strongest slaves and created what some people believe is a super species. So they understand that whenever we figure out the game, whenever we get the resources, we don't just make a place for ourselves, we take over. We dominate. I just went to visit the Nike campus, the Nike Corporation. And I saw all these buildings. Every building is named after somebody. The Michael Jordan building and the Tiger Woods Conference conference center. And it was really big. It was like a big college campus with a lake in the middle and all these buildings named after these famous people. And then in the back, I saw this gigantic building that was bigger than all the other buildings. And it looked like a skyscraper almost. And I said, what building is that? They said, oh, well, that's the Serena Williams building. And that really was perfect. I mean, that's just like a perfect way to describe the way Serena Williams took over the whole game of tennis. There's nothing and no one that's comparable to that. And that also exemplifies how we tend to dominate every single thing we do. So if we want to position our children to control the 21st century, which they will, it will be up to us to fund all of that. We must form the think tanks. We must donate the funds. We must make the investments. We must develop the infrastructure. We must form the super teams that will dominate in the next generation, because we know that no one else is going to do it. So I'm going to finish up here. I did not come up here to talk long. But I want to make this very basic point. When you're talking about what's happening with our kids right now, and when you're talking about the good and the bad and the ugly and everything in between, there is so much hope in the middle of that story that it's almost inconceivable. Now, where does the hope come from? Well, part of it comes from the fact that as a community, when we get together and we form our super teams, we are able to do amazing things. If you want to know who to ask, go ask Disney. Disney put out a movie called The Black Panther. Every black person in America felt like they had to go see this movie. And they literally, from the black community, from Bill pockets, raised about $100 million for black people in a week. And then they raised $500 million within the next 6 weeks. So if we can raise $500 million to fund a movie made by Disney, then why can't we raise $500 million to educate our kids? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to see the movie. I went to go see the movie too. It was a great movie. But that's somebody else's project. That's somebody else's business. That's somebody else's community I'm supporting when I put that money in that movie theater. I want to see us show the same love to our own. So if you want to know what my simple goal is right now, I didn't just reach out to Mr. Kline and Freedom Home Academy just to give the award and to write the check and to move on. I have adopted this school. I am a part of this institution like you. And what's going to happen is that Marcus, I know, and his team, they're working to expand all across the United States. I will repeatedly remind people to give money to the purpose. And I will always remind people to put our children first. And I guarantee you this, if you do this, even at 80% of the ability that you have as a people, remember, you are a super species, you are a super team, you are a super group. If you even go 80%, then in the next 50 years, you will see our children do things that you can never even imagine. In fact, I'll leave you with this. China, 50 years ago, was a messed up country. Their productivity was in the garbage. They were considered to be a punchline of every joke. They had no economic power. They had no respect. But at that time, 50 years ago, there was a group of people who said, let's make a 100-year plan for China. Let's figure out how, in the next 100 years, we're going to help the country of China, develop dominance throughout the world. They are 50 years into that 100-year plan, and China is already dominating the planet. Now, when they talk about the most powerful man on the planet, they don't mention the President of the United States, they mention the President of China. So, black people, I ask you, what is your 100-year plan for your community? What is your 100-year plan for your family? Because in this world, the people that win are not it ain't the people who play checkers. You must play chess. Freedom Home Academy is a part of that. So let's keep playing chess and let's win this game. Congratulations to the children. Thank you for having
Young warriors in training. School of Literacy. Mama Mary, Mama Camilla.
My name is Mama Mary Roberson Watson. I am the head instructor and director of the preschool here, which is School of Literacy. We have 2-year-olds up to 6-year-olds. Well, today is Friday, so it's test day. The children have basically 6 weeks worth of vocabulary words. We give them packets. Every Friday there's a vocabulary test of over the 20 words. A typical day for us begins, go over the vocabulary words, all 20 of them. Look at Baba Gary, tell me what your name is. The Far Ride. The Far Ride Robinson? Yes. How old are you? 3. 3. There we go. Can you go over our week 8 vocabulary words for me, Tefara? All right. Say it nice and loud, okay? Hours. Black. Products. Happen. Hold. Measure. We also verbally go over them as well as write them. That's just to ensure that they understand the words, they can enunciate them properly, and spell them correctly. Then we go a little more heavily into detail with parts of speech. Even though they are, like I said, 2 to 6 years old, everyone in here, parts of speech is really critical. So we spend a lot of time over the phonics piece. What's a verb?
A verb is an action word.
Do you know what a homophone is?
A homophone is a word that describes.
Wait. Who knows what a homophone is that can explain it in detail? Help her out, Caleb.
A homophone
Put your hands down, baby.
is 2 words that contain but have different meanings and different spellings.
Excellent.
My name is Mama Camilla. I basically teach the first level kids. I try to get them ready to move on to my Mary's class. But right now, the first level age is usually 3, sometimes 2.5, but our 2.5-year-olds have to be potty trained. And it goes all the way up to 4. But usually if they can do the work, they can move on. It's really about abilities. It's just basic phonetic awareness, beginning number skills. We do a little bit of geography. A little bit of science. All the same things that all the kids do with all the schools, is just at the very basic level.
All the schools, we have African heroes. Every week there's a different hero. So we also go deep into that. So we've covered quite a few of our African heroes. We don't want them just to know names. We don't want them just to know Fred Hampton Sr. or Emil Cabral. We want them to actually know details about those heroes.
Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mama Mary. This is Mama Camilla, and we are School of Literacy. So really quick, we don't want to spend a lot of time talking. We want you guys just to see what I'm sure most of you know, and that's how brilliant these babies are. So we're going to get started.
Introducing the black led by Margaret and Katherine Dunham. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future, like Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, their blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it. Great flag of mine. Here's to the black of it, 400 million back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it, oh flag of mine. Here's to the green of it, young men shall dream of it. They shot and shells of it, maidens shall steam of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it, colored rock and coal of it. Please is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God for giving it, great flag of mine.
Who are we?
Gwendolyn Brooks.
Freedom fighter.
Excuse me. Come up here, little guy. Stand right here. Yeah. Where was Gwendolyn Brooks born? Where did she grow up?
Chicago, Illinois.
All right.
And what was she?
The Pulitzer Prize for poetry.
All right. What was the name of her first published volume?
A street in Bronzeville.
So real quick, just one. We do like making sure that our children, we're having some mic problems here, I'm just going to speak a little loud. We just want to make sure that our children are socially aware about everything. We think it's real important, Mama Camilla and myself, to make sure they're aware of things that are going on right now. We don't want them to become adults or young people and not understand these so-called political policies that are put in place a lot of times that hinder us from a lot. So we think it's really important that they understand that. We don't show them the age. We try to make sure they're learning the same thing as our older ones. So really quick, we just wanted to give you a couple examples of that. So really quick, who can tell me what socialism is? Step up to the microphone quick. Socialism.
Socialism, social system based on government control of the production and distribution of goods.
All right, come on, that's our baby.
Revolutionary.
Sudden, radical, or complete change, something that hasn't been done before.
All right.
Imperialism.
Empire, stating a country's power and influence with the over another country, occupying it with settlers and exploiting it economically.
Keep moving real quick. I want, real quick, 2 people. Tell me some of your favorite things you're learning in school right now.
Reading.
Pick it up. What up?
The Black Plague.
Absolutely indeed. One more.
Parts of speech.
Parts of speech. Extremely. Okay. So, super fast. Ladies, come forward. Tell us what a preposition is.
A preposition is a word or phrase that expresses a relationship between an object or subject or a group of words in a sentence.
Can you tell me what an adjective is?
Adjective describes a noun.
Is.
A verb is an action word.
All right, Jemima.
All right. In concluding, we have one more poem that was written by one of our former staff members here. She's still with us, near and dear in our heart. I know most of you remember Mama Jackie. She actually wrote this poem, and we just want to make sure that it's a part of what we do every year.
As a destined child, I am destined to prosper. I am destined to succeed. I can read, I can write. I am because you are because I am. My life matters. I'm proud to be black.
One more time. We are?
A chosen generation.
We are?
Black is beautiful.
Thank you.
The Harlem Renaissance period, Langston Hughes remembered it as a time when the Negro was in vogue. He referred to the legendary period between the end of World War I and the onset of the Great Depression, when African American artists seemed to claim the attention of the world. This period, designated a renaissance by the artists themselves, was a turning point in African American cultural history. It retains tremendous symbolic as well as literary significance for us today. Harlem during the 1920s was like a magnet for the Negro intellectual, pulling people from all over the world. Aspiring writers flocked to the community. The Harlem Renaissance was not important only to literature. Black people were innovators of music, theater, and art. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, and special guests, may I present to you Looking Back Literature. Our first presenter this afternoon is Miss Katherine Dunham. Give her a hand.
Hello, my name is Katherine Dunham, and I was born June 22nd, 1909 in Chicago South Side. And I am a scholar, choreographer, dancer, and teacher, and I brought pan dance, African dance to world stage. At a time when black dancers were restricted largely to jazz, tap dancing, and practically excluded from ballet, I studied, recorded, and wrote about black dance and musical forms from across the Atlantic world and choreographed them to concert stage. people of color, black people, and of course the Caribbean were full of them.
Countee Cullen.
Good afternoon. My name is Countee Cullen, and I was born May 30th in 1903, Louisville, Kentucky. I am a writer from the Harlem Renaissance era. I wrote poems for black people to realize their hopes. One of them is called From the Dark Tower. I also wrote another poem called The Incident. In The Incident, it expresses my rage for racial matter. Even in some of my titles of volume poetry also expresses my concern for racial matter. I was the second African American to win the Guggenheim Fellowship Award and was the most popular poet during my time. I shall recite for you From the Dark Tower by Countee Cullen. We shall not always plant while others reap the golden increment of bursting fruit, the countenance, abject and youth. The lesser men should hold their brother's cheek, not overlasting while others sleep. Shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute, not bend to some more subtle brute? We were not made eternally to weep. The night whose sable breast relieves the stark. White stars is no less lovely being dark.
Next presenter is W.E.B. Du Bois.
Good afternoon. My name is W.E.B. Du Bois, born as William Edward Burkhart Du Bois. I was born on February 23rd, 1868 in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. I went to Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, and then to Harvard, and then to the University of Berlin. And I was the first black person to receive a PhD from Harvard University in American history. And I'm also known as the father of Harlem Renaissance. The Souls of Black Folk, which many readers consider my masterpiece, was published in 1903. This piece of work consists of 14 different chapters that blend history, sociology, economic theory, friction, and political commentary. And I, Du Bois, announced that the problem of the 20th century was the same problem of the color line. And one of my most influential ideas was my adaptation of Ralph Waldo Emerson's concept of a double consciousness, the psychological experience of African Americans who are being described as people with two souls, partially Negro and partially American.
Our next presenter, Ms. Josephine Baker.
Hello, good evening. I am Josephine Baker. You may also know me as the Creole Goddess or the Black Pearl. I am a dancer, a singer, activist, entertainer, and French resistant agent. And I became widely popular in France during the 1920s. I was born on June 3rd, 1906 in St. Louis, Missouri. I was the first black person to receive to become a worldwide entertainer and to star in a major motion picture. During my early career, I was renowned as a dancer, and I was one of the most celebrated performers that headlined the views of the Folie Bergère of Paris.
Our next speaker, Ms. Zora Neale Hurston.
Hello, good morning. I am Zora Neale Hurston. I was born in Edenville, Florida, the first black town incorporated in the United States. I wrote plays, novels, short stories, and articles. My second novel, Their Eyes Are Watching God, which was published in 1937, is my most widely read book. I was a folklorist and anthropologist. After graduation, I traveled all over the world, collecting stories and learning about other cultures. Despite 4 years of work, I've only got an associate's degree from Howard, but my career began to flourish. I published my first story, John Redding Goes to Sea. In 1935, I wrote Mules and Men, a number of tales that date back to slavery time.
Hello, I am Duke Ellison. I was born in 1899 in Washington, D.C. I was a pianist, composer, and band leader during the Harlem Renaissance era. My band and I toured Europe and the U.S. and many more other countries. We played for some of the best people, and I had some of the very important people in my band too, like Cootie Williams and Rick Stewart. They played the trumpet and saxophone.
One of the greatest writers of all times, Mr. Ralph Ellison.
Hi, my name is Waldo Ellison. I was born in 1920 in Oklahoma City, where I spent a happy childhood. I grew up in an atmosphere of freedom and openness. Reading was encouraged by my father, who introduced me to books at a very young age. My political and social affairs fostered from my mother, who was politically active. In New York, I met Langston Hughes, then Richard Wright, who asked me to contribute to the Harlem magazine.
Up next is Mr. Richard Wright.
Good afternoon. I am Richard Wright. I was born on a cotton plantation near Natchez, Mississippi. After 9th grade, my last year in school, I moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where I began writing. My first major success came in 1940 when my novel Native Son was published. It was the first book written by an African American to be in the Book of the Month Club. My ideas brought myself into conflict with the ideology and communism. In 1944, I withdrew from the party. Black Boy, My Early Life Story, American Hunter, my autobiography, published in 1977.
The illustrious Miss Margaret Walker.
Good afternoon. I am Margaret Walker, and I was born on July 7, 1915 in Birmingham, Alabama. In the introduction to my novel, Jubilee, I said that I grew up in a talking family. Learning the history of my people was a very important influence in my life and career, and I expressed this influence in my writings. I began writing at the early age of 10. I attended Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. After 4 years, I went to Chicago, where I joined the Federal Writers Project. I became part of the literary circle that included Richard Wright. After graduation in 1937, I went to the University of Iowa to pursue grad study. The poems in my first collection of poetry, For My People, which was written in 1942, was my master's thesis. My poem, Lineage, was written in 1989. I shall recite for you Lineage.
My grandmothers were strong. They followed plows and bent to toil. They moved through fields sowing seed. They touched the earth and grain grew. They were full of sturdiness and singing. My grandmothers were strong. My grandmothers are full of memories, smelling of soap and onions and wet clay, with veins rolling roughly over quick hands. They have many clean words for strength to say. My grandmothers were strong. Why am I not as they?
Our next speaker this afternoon is Mr. Claude McKay.
Hello, I am Claude McKay. I am a writer from the Harlem Renaissance era. I was born in Sunnyvale, Jamaica in the West Indies. My love for my island home inspired my first two books of poetry, Songs of Jamaica and Concept Ballads published in 1912. Most of my poems are Jamaican dialect. My best-known poems were militant, angry sonnets, such as If We Must Die, which urges people to fight against injustice. That poem was written in the summer of 1919 for race rights and self-nation. It expresses Black America's will for desperation and defiance.
Our next presenter, Count Basie. Oh, I'm sorry. Our next presenter is Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Lawrence Dunbar, and I was the first African-American poet to achieve national recognition. I was then the poet laureate of the Negro race. I was born in Dayton, Ohio, and began writing in high school. Darker, my first collection of poems, Oak and Ivy, in 1893. A mask, as you know, is a cover of some sort used to disguise the face. A mask is also used in a figurative sense for something that conceals one's feelings on intention from view. I shall recite for you, Beware the Mask by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Beware the mask that brings to life. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile, with mouth that myriad self-would tease. Why should the world do otherwise, and counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us, while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh, great Christ, our pride, to thee the tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long to fall. But let the world drink otherwise, we wear the mask.
And our next speaker, Count Basie.
Good afternoon. My name is Count Basie. I was born in 1904 in Red Bank, New Jersey. I'm the leader of the big band, and I also play the piano. I joined a local band called Walter Page's Blue Devils in 1928. In 1924, I made my way to Harlem. There, I was strongly influenced and tutored on the organ by Fats Waldo, who was playing with vaudeville acts. There, he recommended me for one such act, and my career had begun. Then I was performing with a variety of singers, dancers, and comedians.
And last but not least, please help me welcome Mr. Langston Hughes.
Hello, my name is Langston Hughes, and I'm the most famous writer of the Harlem Renaissance. But much of the work I am internationally known for was published long after the Renaissance ended. In 1921, I published my lyric, The Negro Speaks of Rivers, and soon earned the title Poet Laureate of Harlem. I also wrote 16 books of poems. My first book of poems, The Weary Blues, was published in 1926. I drew over blues and jazz to invent the new poetic forms that would express the ways of reality and vitality of urban Black life. In 1934, I published a short collection of stories. The ways of white folks in the montage of Virginia Fur are some examples of some. I also co-authored plays and projections with Zora, Neale, Hurston.
Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, intelligent, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not? You are the child of God. You're playing smart, not so good. There's nothing delighting about treating so other people won't live to see around you. We were made to shine as children. We were born to make manifest. The glory of God is within us. It's not just some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others.
attend this school. I always knew that the public school wouldn't be enough for my child, but I thought that I could supplement at home. And about the end of first grade, I realized that that was a real naive approach and that I needed to do better. So what I did was I started researching schools, looking at cities, jobs, where, what I could afford, where I could live, and we decided on this school because Chicago had everything that we needed. The things that they're doing with the children here are amazing. I did a lot of research before I came, watched a lot of videos. I talked to people who would be on similar feeds, like on Facebook, so I could see how if you're a parent here, do you like it? What are the benefits? And it was everything that we were looking for. And I know that I more than made the right choice.
Me and my son, by ourselves, just up and relocated here to attend the school. And when I came here, immediately, the first week, I saw improvements in my son, his academic development, his self-esteem. I have to say that's another reason that I wanted to come, because from the videos that I saw of the school and the students, when the children were participating in class, everyone was engaged, and they were happy to be engaged, and everyone knew everything that the teacher was asking in class. So it helped with his self-esteem, just overall everything. I love that the school, the ideologies of the school is African-centered, so it aligns with what I teach my son at home, and that's definitely something that we need as Black people in this world today. We need to know who we are, what we are. We need to know that we didn't just come from slavery, which is the lies that public schools teach our children. So in the lab, the basic foundations for any science, any technology can be expanded upon. So even if the kids aren't interested in the scientific field, there's a discussion on how to apply these basic concepts with dissection throughout. So we had the cow's eye on the last dissection, and I looked at them and was like, you want to be in cinematography, there's a lens. The lens that they use in the camera is the same function for the lens in the eye. So research that, look at how it works, look at the physiology, the anatomy, the mathematics, and the science behind it, so we can expand their knowledge. As you get to learn each student, you tailor their learning for them. So it's really individualized in a way. So if I have a student that doesn't want to touch anything, so I let them look, and then from there, they're the ones that are designated to reading the instructions for the other students. They're the ones that will be in charge of directing how the lab goes. It's vastly important for the student to see themselves in the curriculum. When you see that you're more than a slave, which the traditional curriculum teaches, then you develop pride, you develop a self-pride, you develop self-motivation, and you develop a level of expectation in the student where they want to be better and do better. So that is, oh my God, it's such a critical difference when you teach that to a child, when you teach them not to hate who they are, when you teach them not to devalue who they are, when you lift them up. So if you lift up their history, lift up their past, inform them of their past, inform them of where they come from, and remind them of whose they are, the possibilities then are endless. They're so endless. It's one thing to hear about something, but it's another thing to see it, to be surrounded in it, to be infused in it, for it to be all around you. And that's what we get here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pre-med program affords students the opportunity to experience the medical field by teaching them fundamental skill sets and information pertaining to emergency medicine and advanced science and technology. Today, Asafo and Sankofa will demonstrate to you CPR and a cricothyrotomy, which is a cric, emergency in the field outpatient setting. We will have the first group start as soon as we can get the presentation loaded. Group B, you have a student who cannot get his inhaler to work and he has an asthmatic reaction. Dr. Taylor, Dr. Whitmore, will now turn around and she will do a head lip tilt to make sure the patient is okay. Once she has ascertained that he cannot get a proper airway, she will then locate the cricoid process. After she has identified the cricoid process, she will then turn around and mark her site as well as cleaning it by putting on gloves to protect herself. Most medical physicians are prepared for providing an airway, breathing, and circulation, so they have ambi bags. They also have an emergency kit in order to perform this, which she now has in her bag. She will then turn around and take out her kit, locate her scalpel. Because she's identified the cricoid process, she will then make an incision vertically, locating the cricoid membrane and punching through. Once she has punched through, she will then take the ET tube or endotracheal tube, placing that into the hole she has made. Once she has placed that, she will then blow up the balloon to secure it. Once she has secured it, she will then call EMS.
This is Dr. Whitmore. I would like to report a young male with LOC due to asthmatic reaction. Temporary. This is Dr. Whitmore. I would like to report a young male with LOC due to asthmatic reaction. Temporary measure taken by emergency crike. Current status stable. I'm located at 7415 South East End Avenue. When can I expect assistance? Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the care of your children. At the back of the table, you will see a display where they have dissected various organs and animals. You'll be able to see that as well as pictures. And they have a very good knowledge of what's going on. Thank you. And maybe one day the life they save will be your own.
This African Center School with advanced work. We're talking engineering, pre-med, we have a pre-law program here, the dissections and the pre-med department is very effective, and the students had a good time. They like it. So the pre-med for K through 5, it goes through K through 12, but the pre-K through 5th grade really consists of theory for the first 2 levels. We prepare them with definitions. We read medical texts, give them some familiarity with medical terminology, and then by the time they get to the 3rd grade, after 3rd grade we start going into dissections, microbiology. Right now we're studying viruses, retroviruses, what they are, how to recognize them under a microscope, specifically viruses.
My team right here. Stop it. So look, we have pre-med, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. What we do, dissection is coming up. Before dissection, we're doing subfactions, medical terms, vocabulary words, medical terms. For the memorization, we're at the stage now where not only can we memorize, we can identify bones, organs, and the skeletal system, and the functionality. So, what I was able to do, hopefully my voice is projecting enough, since we only had one mic, my idea was to give the audience the sickness, and they were going to identify and give a diagnosis, right? But we can still do that with one mic. In the back, can you hear me? All right. So, this will be real fast. You got to pay attention. You got some up there that's super sharp. Sharpen the box of knives, like for real. So, what I do, I'm going to call out the sickness or the ailment. They're going to give you the diagnosis. Now, in the audience, if you know what it is, you can say it too. So first, this is a surgical operation to make an incision in the bile duct to remove a stone. Okay, come to the mic a little bit more.
Chola-do, chola to me.
Chola-do, chola to me. Go back, Ayana. Go back for me real quick. I want you to spell it.
CHOLEDOCHOLITHOMY.
Memorization. We're able to break the word down. Of course, lithomy means what?
Remove of a stone.
Move of a stone. All right. Let me make it quick. This is the condition of life. Science. Black is correct. This is condition of strength. Gotcha. State of mental disorder.
Mania.
This is a prediction.
Prognosis. PROGNOSIS.
Podiatrist.
This word means common people. Here. Nope. Placid. A society ruled by the wealthy. Yes. Say it from there. Yes.
Plutocracy.
Condition of swallowing or eating. Jeremiah.
Badia.
Yeah. He said this early move of a stone. Move of a stone. The lid.
Lithomy.
Move of fluid. Might be. Nope. Synthesis. Ectasia means what? What does ectasia mean? Trinity. Dilation. Good job. Cell is what? Might be. Sight. Good job. What's hearing? Yep. Huh? Q-sis. Good job. Good. Good job. Restoring fluids in the body is what? Besides. Hydration, good. Pertaining to the heart. That's cardio, good. Lack of appetite leading to weight loss. Anorexia, good. Swelling,
Enema,
good. Abnormal fluid in the skull. Let's see. Mike, you know this? Abnormal fluid in the skull? Hydrocephalus, good job. Outward turning up of the eyelids. Come here. Acropius, good job. Incision of the renal pelvis. Renal pelvis. Neale. Pylolympus. Spell it. Spell it. Come on up. Uh-oh. That's it? That's all you got? Huh? Come on, Yeti.
Pyelolithom.
This is blood in the imperial cavity. Jordan.
Hemothorax.
Alright. Pertaining to discharge. Neale. Ready. Good. Absence of the iris in the eyeball. Aniridia. Inherited bleeding disease. Jeremiah.
Hemophilia.
Pertaining to the furnace. Pharyngeal. Now this is a tough one. You probably don't get this. Intentional surgical fracture of a bone to correct deformity. Osteoclast. Spell it with the big jacket on. Spell it. Come on, let's go. Bingo. Madison. Cytosis, good. And incision to remove the renal pelvis and to remove a stone. Yeah. Pylolympus. A surgical opening into the stomach through the abdominal wall. Neale. Good job. Inflammation of the lung. Pneumonitis. Heart and artery. Yep.
Arteriosclerosis.
Good. Elijah. Disease of the kidney. Nope.
Nephropath.
Elijah, headache. Cephalgia, good job. Colorblindness. Chromatopsia. Diminished activity of the pituitary gland. I can't hear. Uh-oh, yeah.
Hypopituitarism.
Hold on. You got to spell that. Come on, back up, spell that. That's one of the easy ones. Working class. What is it? Listen. That's it for us. But you're going to see them again, right? Yeah. Medical school. out. How we practice? Let's see. Go. Okay, let's see you break it. Let's see you break the line. Let's see you break the line. Okay, okay. There we go. Good, good. Great, great. Yeah, now, good. No problem. That went smooth, right? So the first activity of the day is Miss Bragg. Dean Burnett. Dean Burnett. Chloe Collins. Minus Edward. Juliana Ford. Kale Bay. Chloe Hayes. Doug Isaiah. Fareed Raji. Jada Nash. Saga Reed. Azra Khan. Micah Chappelle. All right, Davian. Dinah. Micah. Monroe Edward. Caleb Green. Blake Johnson. Zaya Mayhew. Christina Field. Mikael. Safari Robinson. Tristan Robinson. Yamada Simmons. And Kyrie Thornton. This is the Mali group.
No, you can keep them.
First on the list, Michael Beckford. Jeremiah Bean. downtown, boogie down like Allen Brown. Trinity Brown. Dear Burnett, I'm a Zulu. Elijah Children. Messiah. Madison Edwards. Dorian Gossett. Neale Goza. Pharaoh Hooks. Nelia Jackson. Charles Jones. Masjid Mohammed. Ibrahim Fawzi. Mubarak Rashid. Chad Brown Thornton. Gives the Rocky a win. Julia Yarborough. Panthers X. Those Panthers. Those Panthers. Scott Cullen. Marley Cohen. Catherine Hayes. Felice May. Kai Olugoro. Megan Pierce. Sebastian Reed. Asada Robinson. Sierra Sexton. Olivia Whitmore. Uh-oh, Connor's next. Connor's next. Connor's next. Arguably the most productive group in the school, Christopher Adams. Israel Frederick. Tina Dunbar. Vivian Ford. Langston Jackson. Jesse Johnson. Krista Lawson. Linda Love. Wisdom Mary. Josiah Oshula. Malachi Pierce. Josiah Smith. And Micah B. West. St. Paul was next. Matthew Arnold Hill. Tyler Jackson. Isaiah Robinson. Taylor Whitmore. Okay, so 2018, our first high school graduate of
exceptional. We rarely get a chance to see our children of color, especially with such high levels of education. I have two sons here, Wisdom and Zalik, and Wisdom has been here since kindergarten, Zalik has been here since preschool, and I was in tears today, seeing them on stage, because no matter how much time we spend with our children, when you come and see them perform like that, it's like, who is that child? But I was literally in tears. I'm just amazed at the work that's being done. That's like one of the reasons that my family is still here in Chicago, because of this school.
The education that they get here is unmatched anywhere. I feel like they'll learn the things that they need to survive in today's society for black children. And I just think they go above and beyond what's expected of them.
What I loved about today's expo, well, there were many aspects. I love the pledge. I love the affirmations. I love to see black children shining vibrantly with confidence, knowing that they have the capacity to exceed, knowing that they are extraordinary. I love watching the Molly group go over the diagnosis and spell, and they're just eager to answer all of the questions and spell all of the words. I love the walkthrough literature. The whole expo, as always, was just profound, extraordinary, phenomenal, and the director of the school, Baba Marcus, along with the staff, it's very unique, and I always say that it's a singularity. I don't know another school like Freedom Home Academy, and I'm always telling my son, like, the movie X-Men, where Professor X has the school for the gifted, and I always tell him when I drop him off to school that it's like you are really in a school for gifted beings, and you will grow up, your class, you all will change the world.